haven't missed a beat this weekend, winning the Interstate, winning the National Trans-Tasman, and now taking out the ASRL. They must be exhausted. The Form crew, and they got it done when it counted. Well done.
Yeah. So we're going to move on from that. That backstory is unreal, and some really good time spent hearing with, and we could probably continue to talk more and more and more on that. The second area that I want to sort of go into is with the formation of the Cockatoos 2021, and Chuggy gave us the background on that. You girls haven't heard this because it was meant to drop yesterday, but I held it back so that you wouldn't get to hear it. So that this morning stayed very raw, and we get to hear your story and your experiences on it. But, yeah, and the microphone can just get passed around, but this is purely on the Cockatoos now, and memorable moments. What are your memorable moments just on what you girls have had when you formed that crew with Chooky number 5 and with the boat number 6 that I heard earlier that's included in the crew? There's standouts, and look on the table here, there's plenty of photos that I just think are amazing from ASRL, from Aussies 2021, from injury, illness, throwing someone into the most recent Aussies that's there. Maybe you can pick one each, or you might share them, or 3 main ones. There's been so much success. It might be really hard, and it might not even, it's how you define success. It might not have been that day you won. It could have been a training day. It was just like, there's this memorable moment where blah, 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 and we did this, and I don't know. I'm just going to leave it with you, but the question is, what's the memorable moment from 2021 and that last 3-year capture on the back of an absolute banger of a season that you just had? It was amazing, representing Australia, green blazer, and in line for another one because you can't fit all of the test series on there. Who wants to speak, and where do you want to start that one?
I might say it's more like a feeling of being part of the club. Not to discount any other club that I've been to, but there's something really special about Currumbin. Sarah and I were talking the other day about the Krakens, and when we first got to the surf club, where this old bunch of ladies and these young dudes who are mature beyond their years, who were basically like this. You're welcome, come join.
Yeah.
And everyone was like that, and like not even just in the boat section, but everybody. And I think it just runs deep through like even the young boat crew who have been in the club since they were nippers, and now they're rolling together. Like, how rare is that?
Yeah.
So yeah, success is being surrounded by supportive people, and just having a really good time. And Chook has a lot to do with that as well. His positivity and his riddles, and sometimes you have absolutely no idea what he's on about. But yeah, I don't know, like there's not a specific moment. They're all bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's a feeling.
Mm.
And yeah, you can't really describe it. Yeah.
Fair to say they all just add to the quality of your life.
Yeah.
And make you a better person, or
Correct.
enjoying the life that you're living. With everything else you've got going on, there's kids and family and work commitments and everything, but there's this little section of your life that you share together that adds value, makes you feel good, confident, self-esteem's up. And that's not just a win in a race or a trophy or a medal or whatever. That's the big picture that you're painting here. I think that's massive. Yeah, good answer.
And I just want to add to that a little bit as well, because one of my huge highlights of my surf boat career was when we, as the Cockatoos, won our Aussie gold. And the biggest thing about that was coming into the beach and the club celebrating. As soon as we crossed that line, the celebration photo we've got on the desk there, like it was that moment, it was that feeling there where we go back to that camaraderie. Doesn't matter who you are, how old you are, where you're from, or what you've achieved, everyone is still like celebrating that moment and celebrating each other.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what also makes it super special, is that we all come together as a team, as a whole club, as a community, and it's that support network that we really lean on.
Yeah, we always, like, when
like coming into Aussies this year, and like Sasha likes us to like visualize about, what it might look like. That photo comes up every time. Like it's not the photo of us in the boat or with our medals or standing on the dice. It's actually that photo that gets between us. Yeah, probably the most.
And there'll be an image of it, put up on the clip. Can't see it right now. We can around the table, but yeah, there's so much energy and positivity and looking at the images that are here. And there's some really neat ones that I want to ask you about, and they're not even about a race, or they're a race that you guys didn't do that well in, but you're there celebrating someone else because, they've done the effort and it was their day, it was their alley, it was their moment, and how humble you are with that, which is a spin-off of Chucky, and all that he's achieved, and other sweeps in the club for that matter, or other personnel in the club have achieved a heap, but they're just deep down good humans and don't spruik about it. They're super humble. They just carry on. There's a lot to take away from that. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll share my memorable moment. So I think it was leading into the second Aussies we rode together. I don't know, maybe it was around January or February. Sasha rang me and shared something personal that she was going through, and I realised that I was going through the same thing, and it forced me to take action in my life about some things that were really tough. And so out of everything, I think that has been for me personally just a super huge turning point in my life, both personally and probably mainly personally. Like rowing is a side thing, and I think for someone who has rowed for so long with so many different people, you go through times in this sport where you're or as an adult really, and playing adult sport, is this really of value to me? Shouldn't I be focusing on my career or my family or something like that? That you kind of go, it makes you really evaluate why you're doing this, and it's about what all of these people have brought into my life that has made me a better mother, person, human. I was at a point in my life where I couldn't even take feedback or seek outward influence, and that conversation with Sasha was a turning point in my life. And I guess that's why this crew is so special. And then my other most memorable thing, if I think we were asked to bring a photo of our most memorable thing, and the coolest day that we've had, I think by far, was getting ready for Calissa's wedding. I we were walking down the aisle, leading Calissa down, and I said something to Lisa, and Lisa's just got the best laugh. And I said something, and she just let rip. I was like, I shouldn't have said anything to you because everybody will know that we're here.
Yeah.
We're 200 metres, but I'm pretty sure it's been announced because Lisa's laughed.
That's so cool.
And, it's what each individual one of us bring to each other. Lisa's laugh, Sasha's unsuspecting humour, that has come out quite a bit recently. And Calissa's drive and passion, and she's almost 10 years younger than me, and I just having that type of person around you, and then of course just to be in the presence. It brings so much to our lives, and I think as you get older, you kind of are shit, I need that around me. That's my memory.
Because your life moves in a different phase,
Yeah.
There's marriage, and the partner, and then kids can come along, and the phases can change. Yeah. And maybe as a young athlete, not even just rowing, but a young athlete, you're just taking everything in your stride, you're powering along, and it's selfish might not be the word, but you're really focused on what you're doing. And then moments like that come along, and you hit some hurdles in life, and you hit a certain age, and things change, and you start to evaluate and weigh them up and go, what am I doing here? Where's the value? Oh, hang on, someone else is going through some stuff like this, and they're breakthrough moments. I think that you get to come through or share, open up, be vulnerable, say, hey, good on you. Good.
We
Thanks for the
used
share.
to waste probably an hour to 2 hours after training every day at the coffee shop when we didn't have kids.
When we didn't have children, yeah.
It was great.
Yeah.
Therapy right there.
Yeah, no, it was very useful, but it was really hard, like because I had kids. My first child was a bit older than the rest of the guys, like adjusting to rowing life without having that kind of social connection. But I think we've managed to achieve that in different ways, and I'll be very, grateful that I've managed to find that in my life as a mother. I meet other mums who, and they're obviously amazing mums, but they're I just can't even get 5 minutes to myself, and I'm in such a lucky position that I get to do this.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. I feel like it's crazy that you get to enjoy that.
And athletes in team sports, just to have that network around, the understanding, open and honest conversation. Yeah, good share. Thanks very much.
My probably memorable. There's too many in the boat to count race-wise. It's always memorable. We always have a good time. But my personal probably best thing that I've taken away from this crew is probably similar to Tara, is the relationships that we formed. We go through highs and lows together, and it's so supportive. It's just awesome to know that you have 4 other people, including Chook, that have your back. There's been times, like when I was pregnant and miserable and hating life, and Lisa drove all out to my house with all these sweet treats.
We ate them together.
We sympathised. And then, like when my husband went back to work and I had a newborn, and Tara showed up at my door with meals. Or after the big storm we had on Christmas night, and Calista and Sean showed up ready to help clean up the next day. Yeah. Chuka just forever checking in and telling us, don't try so hard, and go watch a movie, and taking care of our mental health. And me, that's been the most important. We love Chook, and his leadership is very much, he cares about us as people first, and athletes, second. But we do it a lot for Chook, making the Australian team. We're just so happy for Chook, because we'd all made it before, and it was so excited to see Chook, in his green blazer, and he was just owned it. So it's so cool to have a team where we're just so excited for each other, and probably ourselves second. The team is number one. So it's pretty special, I think. And we've realised that we're special. We're lucky to have that.
It shows you that it's a big picture answer, isn't it? It's not defined by, like, again, a silver at Aussies or a representative tracksuit or whatever. But I think it's a mature head that recognises that when we're down the track a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Early on, we're not so intrinsic. We're extrinsic. We want those rewards.
Yeah, the medals.
We're chasing that, the representative honours or whatever. But when you get older, you go, hang on. Yeah. Hang on.
It's all nice, but I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't have a special feeling and enjoy going to training and
And I don't think you can pick that up from a mature athlete and put that on a young athlete's head. Some of them are good like that. They tap into it because they're in that space where we all were, where you were once upon a time, like you mentioned before. But then as time travels on, and it does go quick, especially with young kids and everything happened there. Next minute you blink and you're like, wow, here we are. So another really good answer and a big picture answer. Yeah.
It's all about enjoying the journey.
That's it. Absolutely key. You hear people say it all the time, don't you?
Yeah, I think the other really special thing, and something that I've taken out of the season just gone, is watching the Maroochydore Chums, who actually won gold, and they I think those 4 girls, the exact same crew in the Sweets changed a few times, but have rowed together, and they are just the best of pals, and it's so cool to watch them finally achieve. And I'd be really, I think you should have them on the podcast.
Well, there's space for all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think, sitting back and just going, it's not all about every single win. For them, it's about, there's no way that they would have assisted that long if it wasn't about the journey. And I think that that result has kind of made me sit back and go, we have to, and we do, but to like kind of reflect on it and verbalise it and go, that's what it's about. So.
And it's one thing to reflect on it in your own mind, but then to verbalise it, share it with others, put it out there.
Yeah.
And realise that there's so many parallels, there's so many similar.
Yeah.
Before we go to you here, and this picture will come up too, but there's a post that you girls put on your Insta, and it's a photo of the dice at this year's Aussies, and you're not on that dice, but it's probably reflective on what you're talking about now, and your comments are, this is a photo of some very strong, inspirational humans. Aussies 2024 podium. We didn't make the cut, and there's a couple of tear emojis there. But this lot were incredible and deserve to be standing exactly where they are. And I just think it's unreal that another crew, you know, who rightly deserve to be there, as the Hunters could have easily been there and all that. We know what happens in surf boats with alleys and draws and days and leading a semi and then not making top 4 or 5, or watching it just all dissolve on the back of an amazing season where you think that's the little cherry on top. To show appreciation for that, I just think it's just so A grade. That's gold standard right there. And others can, if they don't already, can just look at that and go, that's what we should be doing. You know, we can be selfish and all about ourselves and that, but here's a good celebration for other women in the sport, people in the sport, good humans. So well done. When I read that, I went, wow, that's so good. So I'm glad that was a nice little intro to talk about, again, that image that'll probably pop up on the pod. Someone was going to talk just then and I cut you off.
You were.
I would just add something. A big thing about our understanding of each other and our flexibility is this gal, Alyssa. Like, we've all got kids, but she doesn't. Yep. And gosh, there's something special about you.
The energy. Doesn't have kids yet.
And just but she's like, yeah, patience. Yep, sure. Oh, whatever works for you guys. Like, row at 4 a.m. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And like, it takes her an hour to get to training, right? Like, she is out of this world. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And it for you guys.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just all super flexible. Like, I mean, we have things that hold us back, like shift working and kids, but Alyssa, like, she doesn't have anything holding her back, but she does.
Yeah.
But she's still got 1,000 things, but she always says yes to us.
Yeah.
And our needs.
Yeah.
So it's a really special,
good understanding.
A really special person. Yeah.
I guess that leads into the next one. There's an email that come through from Jessica Swanson here from Fairhaven, and she wanted to know why you girls get on and gel so much as a crew. And you've probably covered a lot of that in what you just talked about, the understanding, the open conversation, the dialogue, including Chucky too, and having such busy lives and so much going on, family commitments and kids and running around, and someone having to travel a fair distance to get to training and, you know, be there on time and make that session count. Any other comments on that? Is there anything more than what you've already probably mentioned, why you guys just gel and have gelled since 2021 to achieve so much and to share so much and just enjoy that part of the journey?
I think in terms of a boat crew, like, you know, the fact that we all love each other is a bonus, but I think in terms of a boat crew that we all are on the same page with goals and expectations, and we don't actually train together except for in the boat. So we all trust that everyone's doing the training, and if anything, we're all conscious of overtraining, you know, telling each other, just have a rest, don't worry about doing that ergo, or, you know, like, but yeah, I think, and that we all kind of support each other. If there's something comes up or someone gets sick and they can't make training, it's like, okay, that's fine. Like, it's never a big deal, because at the end of the day, the sport's for fun. It's not professional. It's not the Olympics. It's not, you know, it's got to be fun first and foremost. And yeah, the supportive environment, I think, definitely helps us be successful.
That word there, we talked about it just before we started this session, just watching from the outside, looking in, everything that you've achieved this year, last year, year before, since coming together, has been amazing. But this year in particular looked like you girls were having the most fun. There was some serious enjoyment going on that gave you, or seemed to give you, really good balance. And then to see the results come with that, think Haley Lewis's coach years ago, Joe King, before he passed away, someone interviewed him and said, "What's the secret to a successful club? You know, what makes those clubs do better than others?" And part of his answer was, he said, the clubs that are having the most fun, the clubs that are social, the clubs that are really got that in check, the results will come. And in a micro version of that, I just watched, you know, what you girls just, when it was time to race, white line fever, bang, we're on. When you're not racing, the ability to downtime, enjoy it, have fun, have a giggle, just, I could hear you or see you and go, here they are, kids, have a go at them. And then these amazing results would follow. And I'm like, there's some great balance there. They've really got that happening well.
There's another quote that we like, and I think it's a happy athlete is a dangerous athlete.
Yeah.
Matt Fraser. So that's something like it's interesting that you have noticed a difference this season, because I feel like we've probably always had that, with us, and wanted that, that's what we've always felt like has been happening. I think probably it's probably a little bit individualistic to our crew, but I think as mothers, like, the pressure came off a little bit this year at home, and we could really appreciate being away. Like, there's another photo that's up there potentially when we were down at Swansea, and I think I wrote to you about this prior to coming, about the day we got to spend in between the Oz team trials and the short course. And we actually went and did some exploring around Swansea, and got to hang out with some of the other guys at the club. And I think probably the last 2 years prior to that, we were like, we've got to go home, we've got to do this, we've got to breastfeed a kid, we've got XYZ going on. And this year we had not big moments, that was probably the only day that we did something like that. We didn't want to do a short course, really. We were so much time away. The cockatoos, yeah. That's so much time away from the family. That's a real struggle to be away that long and to be so entitled to take a day off in another town while, husbands are owning the kids.
Yeah.
But there were just some real little micro moments like that we were able to take. And enjoy what other people probably enjoy a lot, in traveling with surf boats and lots of stuff. You get to go to a mate on the first flight out. We're doing car races back to the airport and stuff like that to make, so yeah, there were probably just a few more of those micro moments where we could just enjoy. And I'm so glad for Calissa from that point of view, because I know we're always racing off, but I know they're the moments that she loves so much, and we always want to have them for her as well. And just to be able to give a bit more of that this season, I think, is maybe what you're seeing. I'm like, we're always having real good time. Yeah. I don't know if you know, but so yeah, it's interesting to hear that outsider's perspective.
Yeah.
I feel like we're always having fun, and sure, this season looks really cool on paper, but
yeah,
I don't know. We didn't win Aussie, so that's not. Take that bit out.
I'll ask you later about just the position of role models too, being more mature athletes in the club, and a lot of boat crews, 50-50, I think, for male and female boat crews, which I just love the fact that there's so many female boat crews, and as well as male, and watching you girls, watching our open men, set examples and so forth. So I will go there soon. But yeah, the comments around that you raced, and I spoke with Chucky, and it's on that podcast coming out in episode 2, about the day in Swansea. It was so good to be there and watch it. The final 3 crews and how tight it was, even on 4 points apiece, even after leading and sort of having that first one snatched. And then I didn't think you had the best alley for the 3rd race. There was a shark out at the Bommy off Swansea Belmont that took a whole 2-second shark. Keep going. Yeah. It was unreal, but it was good to hear that backstory, that you had a day in between, and so much energy got put into that. It made the Australian team celebration that night. That was a good night at Swansea Belmont Blacksmith Surf Club, and then a day in between to have some downtime, recharge a little bit, and sort of go, it's short course. Do we really want to? And I think it was the extra competitor here that said, no, I really wanted to win that one.
Yeah, after the race, she was like,
And-
"Oh, I actually really wanted to win."
and
that.
off-
I didn't know, but when we won, I
And off you did, and it was good to read that.
Yeah.
They're just insights that from the outside looking in, you see you achieve so much, but they're great insights to hear what happened and what went down. Oh, were they really? Oh, wow.
Just to add to that, after that whole weekend, and we had that extended stay competing at short course for Sunday, we then get to the airport to go home on Sunday night, and our flight gets cancelled.
Right.
It got cancelled from Newcastle, so we managed to very, very luckily got ourselves a car, and we drove through the night to get back to the coast because the girls had to get
back
home
to
to the
family.
kids
Yeah.
because your husbands had to go to work and go off to training and things. So that was a huge weekend. It was lots of emotions, all the highs, and then the really, really, really long dark drive through the night. But that was also another time when we just kind of came together. We were like, right, we got to do this. We can do hard things. We can get home. We have to. So that's what we did.
And that's it.
What it took right to us. What an opportunity.
What an opportunity.
We laughed.
That's exactly right. That's what he said. Yeah, I love that. Good share. And I imagine that road trip home, 8 hours or whatever it might have been, was a whole lot easier knowing that you had another notch on the green blazer. And Chucky had his first green blazer, and you were the Australian short course champions.
Yeah.
Because interesting, you flipped that, and you just missed that. Imagine getting second and not making the Australian team.
I think we did talk about that, actually.
Yeah. It would have been a harder trip.
Being sad.
You
Because
did?
this is really upsetting on what's happening right now. We're a little bit happy as well.
Yeah. Nah, we can deal with this.
Yeah.
Good on you. I've got a text message here. Lola Rose from Mullaloo Surf Club, WA, wants to know, and this is sort of turning it back, but from your experienced heads, any tips for beginner crews that are starting out? Just to dive into that for a little bit. Any tips for beginner crews just starting out? What would be a couple of key points you'd like to pass on there?
I mean, what would I say about that? I think picking people who you want to be around to be in your crew. Like, we've all kind of competed in other sports where it's a selection to get in the crew, but this sport's really unique. Is that you pick the people that you want to be in a team with. Even Australian selection, you don't pick the 4 best rowers, you pick the best team, the best crew, which isn't always the way in other sports. So, I guess there's that factor. I think, as we've reflected on already, there's a lot to learn out of the Currumbin model, and I think surf lifesaving as a whole, surf boats as a whole, could really look at that, and people maybe need to extend out of their own club, but suites are the heart and soul of our sport, and as we've said, like, you get poor and inexperienced girls with a suite that's trying to try their luck. It can lead into not a good experience starting out. So I think, finding that balance and lifting up our lower, the suites that have the most to learn, and bringing them up to a better standard, I guess, as a reflection on the sport. I think one of the things that I learned as a coach, like, I coached a lot of 15 and 16-year-old girls when I was early 20s myself, but leading by example. So, I jumped on every single ergo that crew did. I did every single run with those girls, and, showing them that you can do it as well. I think can be really, really powerful where that's an option. And if it's not you, we're so lucky in this sport that there are lots of other senior people that could be that sort of leadership figure. I think there's a lot to be said for that. And I think, the other thing, actually, I was watching you back, I found an old clip of you talking about, I don't know, two surf swimmers maybe that you used to coach, and there was one girl.
Yeah.
That pops up on YouTube while I was watching a few things. I was like, oh, look,
some old footage there. It's your research and development.
But what you spoke about was the way the two different athletes handled the pressure in the competition, and something I learned
in my journey coaching some girls was how you need to speak to each person differently. Like each person has, something that motivates them, something that pushes their buttons. And I think that is the power of a coach, is working out what works for each individual athlete. Now, in swimming, it's very obvious that there's one person that you're dealing with, but in a rowing crew, it might not be so obvious. But there's always something that works for one person that doesn't work for the other. Even this morning, we're trying to work on something in the boat, and I was thinking about a physical cue that helped me that I shared with the other girls, but that might not be their thing. Like they've got something else that cues them to do the same thing that we're all trying to achieve. So, it's working out what that is from a coaching point of view that can, really, really help. But I think the other thing, just love it and just take the opportunities. And, as a young person, like for me, when I first started out surf boats, the first carnival I went to was Ocean Thunder. I'd come out of Stillwater, which was super stiff and up and down, and you trained all season, you didn't drink. And I went out to this carnival in Sydney, and we all went out to Manly afterwards. I was like, this is my sport. What is this? We go hard and then we go hard. And then, so just as a young person, taking the opportunities and embracing the club and the people around you and opportunities to go time afterwards as well. Like, we're not as much into that these days. So, as a young person, it is the greatest thing about the sport. Is the frivolity that can be a really good time to get to me.
Yeah, it's the blend, isn't it? It's the blend in the boat mixed with what's happening out of the boat. And so a new crew coming together, for just like State of Origin teams and Queensland seem to do it really, really well over the years. Their ability to bond, or an analogy is a pyramid, the wider that base of building a relationship and trust and all of those important values and qualities, the higher the pyramid gets built and the more you achieve together, type of thing. So, yeah.
For us, that goes back to when we were at Tally, the Kayleys as well. And as mentioned, we did have those couple of hours after training every day where we'd go to the coffee shop, social brew, and we would just sit there and we'd know the ins and outs of everyone's day and life and everything that's going on. And so I think that now we're at a stage where, like we did have coffee this morning, but we don't get that opportunity as much anymore. But our base was built years ago when we did have, all those extra hours in the day to be able to hang out with each other, and then take the slightly extended periods to be able to go to Aussies for a few extra days, and have a whole girls trip away for a week. Like I know that the young Chaos girls did, when they went away together and they enjoyed that whole journey together. So I think that that's really important in the boat, but then also out the boat, and also helping each other on the ergos, sitting next to each other, pushing each other, and then in the gym, spotting each other. I think it really does travel through, in and out of the boat. But the other thing I was going to say as well was we have touched on it, but I think it's also really important to always be open to learning. And I know that I'm still working on that, especially when Sean tells me off in the gym sometimes. But I think being open to feedback and willing to learn, and like us as a senior crew, we're still working on things every time we go out. We're still learning. There's still a new call that's made, and we're like, that's opened up another thought or another process or another change that we might make, and then learning off of other people, like the other sweeps that we've touched on. So I think that as younger crews going through, just being open to learn from everyone around you. That's really important.
That's great advice. It really is. We can continue on that, or we can move on to the next one. I'm conscious of time too, so if there's
I'm fine.
Yeah.
So, my tips or advice for new people starting out would be just keep turning
beginner crew, just kicking it off or getting into rowing first time.
Yeah, keep turning up. Just turn up is half the battle. Turn up to training, turn up, if someone suggests ergos, turn up. Someone says, do you want to start running? Yep, turn up. Just keep saying yes and showing up and keep asking lots of questions. If someone says something and you're not sure what they mean, Chook's riddles, he tells us something and we're like, what do you mean? I think we understand the spirit of what you're talking about, but so always ask lots of questions. You all got to be on the same page, and it just helps you understand. I think in terms of technique, for me personally, visualization. So visualizing what it's supposed to look like, looking at yourself. Video footage is excellent, and then looking at someone who is doing the technique the way that you want. That you're aiming for. Yeah, I learned a lot by visualizing and seeing it in front of me. And that also then comes into it race day. Like, so if you visualize taking stroke 10,000 times, that's 10,000 more strokes that you've taken, and turn up to race day, you don't have to think about it as much. Me personally, that helps with nerves. Like, I don't really get nervous because in my head I've done it before. I've done it a million times. There's always different things in surf and different swell and boats and whatever. But in terms of the rowing, just do what you always do, or do what you visualized. And then I guess, like what Calissa said. I've lost my train of thought. Sorry.
The untapped power of visualization. Just to get onto that, we do so much of the physical, but the mental rehearsal, the mental imagery, the visualization, they are absolutely powerful tools.
Yeah.
And maybe the generation coming through, I don't know, it's interesting what you're saying is important for a beginner crew. And it's only my perception, but the younger generation or devices and this and that, text messages, it's a different format of communication in the boat. It's body language, it's talk, speak, listen, action. Yeah, I'm interested to see how that evolves going forward. Not just surf boat rowing, but work environment, all other sports in general. Having kids.
And like Melissa touched on, just always be a student. So you ask lots of questions. You need to learn. Even, as years go on and you become experienced, you still have many things to learn.
Yeah.
We only learned a couple of seasons how to help Chook when he steers the boat.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
We would be what you call experienced, and we didn't know what we were doing.
We're doing exactly wrong.
So Chook's leaning out of the boat pulling, and we were leaning against him, thinking we're helping. But we only learned that a couple of years ago.
That's good. As they say, you stop learning the day you die.
Yeah.
There's in my line of work in compliance and construction, I openly say to the guys and girls that I'll learn something new today, and if I don't, I'm not working hard enough.
Yeah, your eyes open.
Always picking stuff up. I was going to say the younger generation, I think, might be extra skilled on visualization because of the tools and the stuff that they've got. That's not a negative. It's just that that's the space they're coming through. It's not the same as what it was back when, 55 now. Things have changed a lot, and just seeing it and watching it. But I think it's going to be an advantage for them, and how quick and tech savvy and everything they are. The young chaos, the under 17s, they're teaching me stuff all the time, and I'm sure it's a two-way street, as it is with you guys in Chook. Yeah, that's good. In and out of the boat. Yeah, good. We're going to flip to the other side. So, any quick tips for an established crew, the elite and the pointy end? And it's probably a hard question to say, oh, well, we do this, you guys should do that. Each to their own. But, you might not spend too much on it, maybe. But tips for established crews wanting to get better and get to another level. How do they, maybe not experience, but an average crew or a crew that's not beginner, but it's in that plateau stage, what are a couple of things that you would put forward that they could do to help them get to the elite level?
That sounds silly, but probably similar to a junior crew.
Yep.
I think every stage you might delve deeper into certain things, but keep showing up. You could change things, because if you're doing something the same and nothing's changing.
Same result.
Yep. Maybe change it up. Like Stinky the other day was saying, we should just get some skis out, go for a paddle. Like, how would we do that? To change our brain, to change the way we think, to have fun. Just do something random. I don't know, sign up to a trail run with your mate, and you're just going to say yes. So you just get this thing of saying yes. Like, I hate running, but it'll be fun, right?
Yeah.
Do something outside of just that tunnel visioned boat rowing, must get better, must win.
Yeah.
Do things out of the box.
Good.
I
saw footage of your trail run.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't fast, but it was kind of fun.
Can I ask where that was? Where were you?
I was at the back of Currumbin.
Yeah. Because I thought I saw some familiar scenery.
Yeah. Our trail run tomorrow is in Lorraine. Yeah, definitely be so open to so many different things. Get other sweeps in the boat. Yeah. You can get other rowers in the boat as well, or sit in another person's boat, video footage. Yeah. Just be really, really open.
Because, like you say, if you're going to keep doing the same thing, you're going to get that same result. And so, if the crew's plateaued and you're trying to get to that next level, you're trying to tweak things, and the fitness and strength and experience are all compounding and building. So there's a natural progression there. But they're really good tips to go be open to it.
I think for us, the thing that works is we call it the 1%ers or the 2%ers, like the little things. Like we'll do a session and we're like, first stroke out of the can, just still quite feel. So we work on that first stroke, or the feeling of lengthening out. Like we'll pick little parts of the race and fine tune, and also things like training out of the boat, or tapering, or recovery, or diet, or like we like to put a spotlight on those little things, that they all add up. There's a lot of big things that contribute to a really good boat crew, but I think the little things also count.
Yeah, they're good comments. And through the season, through a typical season, is there a week where you go, there's a focus on nutrition this week, tweak something on our nutrition this week, or is it a full season thing?
I think that these three humans beside me have exact varying diets. Like they really dial that in, and I'm always learning from them on that.
Oh, I love a donut.
Who doesn't?
I think from that point of view, like I think these guys have just got that set in their everyday lives, and I'm always trying to improve on that. And we're just always learning from each other. But just back to the other thing that you were saying before, I think if you want to improve, what can you do to make it more fun? Like, are you enjoying training? Like, do you all need to do the same thing every day? That's what you're currently doing. Or if you're all doing different things, do you need to come together more often? So just, is there something you can change? I think the one thing for all of us is we're all doing training that we enjoy. So we all want to be at every session. We're going, like, I don't really ever get out of it. Do that. So, I mean, ergos get left till the end of the week. But, yes. But again, there's a mindset on that. Like, police, what was it this season you said about, because Chook set us some ergos and I had some really hard splits, and Chook's like, but just have a go. Just see how many strokes you can hold it for. Like, is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 10? Is it not at all? Like, and that's cool. So how close can you get? How close can you get? And that just was a big mindset shift of her in particular, and me to another extent as well. But, just thinking about things in a slightly different way.
Yeah. And squeezing those at the top end, at the pointy end of where you are, those 1% is a massive.
And we haven't really touched on it too much, but I think what's also really important in our sport is grit. And we have said this time and time again throughout all of the different seasons, but a little saying that we had is to get into the pain room, close the door, and do a little dance around in there. And we love that saying because, I mean, we do that on the ergo, we do that in the boat, but we do that for each other. So you're putting yourself through that pain in your legs, your lungs are burning, everything is hurting, but your buddy next to you is also doing that. So you're all in the same position there, pushing yourselves, really getting into that pain room and doing that little dance around and rowing all the way to the car park. You're not finishing on the beach, you're finishing all the way in the car park. And I think that's also a really important element about the sport, because it is a power sport, but it is also you need to be able to push yourself, and you need to be able to switch on and stay in the zone. And I know that I've done a few ergos at work this season at lunchtime, and I've had my colleagues and other people say, as soon as I'm on the ergo, I'm focusing on the screen in front of me, everything that's going on around me, and they make comments on how focused I am and how determined they can see that I am, because I'm just rocking through the motions. I'm doing what I need to do. I've got my program, I've got my structure, I've got my rest.
And they worry about him. Is she okay?
He was just focused, completely blinkers on.
And then I roll up and fall on the floor and try and breathe heavily.
Yeah.
But we got to do that for each other.
Yeah. And I love who leads this space. Who loves putting the quotes up and bits and pieces? Because I'll read this one, and I like it. And it says, "The race always hurts. Expect it to hurt. You don't train so it doesn't hurt. You train so you can tolerate it." And it's a spin-off of what you were just talking about.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. And as an athlete, you print them out, post them up, write them on your mirror, whatever you do. But yeah, they're good things that reinforce exactly what you're doing, why you're doing it, where you want to be. I love you have a dance around in the hurt room.
I think, and just sorry to go on about that 1% thing. I think the additional thing to that is like Chook's openness. So like, you know, we've probably focused on our turns every season for I don't know how long to try and get them better, because you know Megsy's a left-handed sweep, Jack Patterson's a left-handed sweep, Brian's a left-handed sweep, so they do have the advantage of the left coming into the turn, and you know we can often lead a race to the cans, and then you look, oh, who's the other one? Bateman's Bay, Neil, he's a lefty too. Yeah. Like I think in that Aussie final in 2021, those girls made up like on the turn.
You see it, the drone footage and
you know, wow. Yeah, like we come to training and we just need to get this better, and we'll try different things, and you know, I've rode in crews where the sweep's like, this is how we do it, you will sit here and listen. And I actually found it challenging when I came into what I call a democracy group, where like the sweep's like, you know, what do you guys want to do? And I'm like, you don't just tell me, like, you know, so that type of thing. So he's always willing to take on the feedback, and like I remember sending him a little clip of our turn at some kind of, I'm like, what are we going to do about this? Like we need to, what can we change? What can we do? So it's the openness again of the leader. Like we're all really open to it, but the openness of the leader to take on that feedback and try something different. And like I came down with a little drill one day that I thought up in the shower one morning, and it's like, yeah, let's give that a go. And I, you know,
you were practicing
things. Like
you were practicing boyos in the
shower. Don't you?
Only twice a day. I love that. Girls, I think we could just sit here and talk forever. There's my phone ringing, so I'm just going to kill that.
Yeah.
And look, it's raw, and there's plenty more we could cover. I've got just two areas maybe to talk about just towards the end. There's a last question there: what training you do as an open women's crew? So in the guts of the season, just quickly, a typical week. And I know it's hard with your work and distances from where people live and family, kids. What's a typical week look like?
Typical week is 2 to 3 boat sessions, triple send through 2 to 3 ergos, and then you just spend every other day trying to get as fit as you can.
Yep.
By whatever method you shall choose.
Yeah. So we've got CrossFit, we've got other things that you do that complement, supplement, enjoy.
Yeah, it's enjoyment. Yeah. So I guess we've all kind of found our, you know, fitness of choice. Like Lise is at CrossFit, Sash and Liz are actually training at the same gym, which is a, you know, CrossFit style gym. I go to Bitstop, which is, it's all a blend of like heavy stuff, you know, metabolic conditioning, you know, moving light weights at, you know, high repetition. Yeah, like strength endurance type stuff. So I don't think there's anything special in the training that they're doing. Like anybody, you know, if anything, like I think at times the volume's probably, you know, when we were in the Aussie team this year, like, oh, how much do you train? This is like 13 times. And everyone else is like, oh, okay, 6. So, you know, it's not, no one's got it right, no one's got it wrong. Like it's doing what you enjoy. You know, we train a lot around mental health as well. Like that's really for us.
Good point.
You know, humans.
And the balance with family and work and everything else when you can fit it in.
We train I train at lunchtime. I train, you know, 6 o'clock on a Sunday night while the kids are watching a movie. Like you find different windows to make it work.
And I think just to add to that as well, as we're getting a little bit older, getting a little bit wiser on recovery.
Yeah.
And I think that, we all have a few little niggles and injuries that kind of pop up in and out throughout the years and the seasons. But I think ice baths is something that I know Sean and I have tried to incorporate at home a little bit more. And you guys are using the ice baths as well, which Tara also BYO'd ice bath when we went down to Lawn.
Jacko's got the bath set at 4 degrees, ready for post podcast.
Podcast.
Yeah, post podcast recovery.
This morning.
It's only the head that goes in.
But I think, on the back of training, there's that intensity and that pain room, and doing our herbs. But there's also the recovery, the nutrition, the hydration, and breathing. We've done a lot of research and a few little courses and things this year on breathing, along with Chucky as well. So we're trying to look at the whole athlete perspective and every little part that's incorporated in that.
Love it. I'll just pass the photo under there, which leads us in towards the very back end to give it some closure. One quick one before we go there. Where do you see yourselves in 5 years' time, 10 years' time? Cockatoos come together 2021 have achieved so much. The season's been amazing. We put in the last episode what your results were. Like anyone would just seize that with 2 hands and 2 feet if they ever had a chance to go, I'd love to have a season like that. But going forward now, has there been talk, discussion? Is it one season at a time? Is it one row like this morning in the 4.8 degrees coming together to go? I know it's early days. I'm just throwing this question at you to say, any talk or any, where in 5 years' time?
Yeah, I mean, immediate future, we've all committed to go to World, so that's what we've reached this year.
Awesome. 11 weeks' time, good.
A crack. But for me, it's always one season at a time. Like, I don't even like talking about the next season. Don't ask me about next year until Aussies is done.
Good.
That's always been my mentality. Like, I don't want anything of what's going on next season to play out. What might happen this season.
I guess it keeps you focused in that moment of a season.
Yeah.
In a shorter period.
Yeah. In like 5 to 10 years' time, like I don't know when I sent Lisa a photo, but there's 2 old chooks rowing with their 2 daughters in the boat.
Yeah.
That's quite a dream. That'd be pretty sick. I guess none of us want to talk about the reserve grade word. But D Finch is there giving it a good crack, so it's probably quite competitive, to be honest. Part one season at a time in terms of the full season. And, I said a couple of years ago, I'm almost 40, like, what am I thinking? So I turned 40 in October this year, so yeah, there's that. But I would like to, I'm learning a lot more about the importance of community and, this club is so amazing in what they give. And one day when I'm happy to dial back my own training and make space to help someone else, I would like to be in that space and, to help the young crews come through and have a sweep and give them. I've tried it once, fell straight out. So good luck with that. It was going to be my career, but that's what I'd like to do.
Yeah, it's just a general question. Yeah. Yes, I think you're probably all on the similar page. One season at a time.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Thank God.
And the good piece there, it leads into the last bit on getting to a stage where you're helping others, and without realising it, you're helping them now because you're role models in our club and probably other clubs, and people just watching what the Cockatoos do. The photo there is, I'm not sure who sent that. Whose daughter is that one?
That's my daughter.
Yeah, and just the power of the role model.
Yeah.
The power of the role model where people are watching, people are emulating, people are copying, people are, hopefully again in this discussion today, there's some little takeaways that people can grab and use and go, oh, didn't know that. There's a great insight. That's similar or that's different. We can tweak. But where you girls are at, what you've done, the other little one from an earlier question was blending an experienced crew like you and putting you in with the chaos. And we call them the Chaos-a-twos.
Yeah.
We had 2 and 2, so a training tool of being able to do that, where the young girls get a chance to feel what it's like with some powerhouse elite athletes in the boat, and vice versa, reinforces with you why we're doing what we do. So there's takeaways for both. But all of those young crews, and a lot of, if you look at a point score breakdown, ASRL and so forth, there's some really good future at our club, and we're lucky with that and the way we do it and the way it's developed. But they're always watching you guys. They're always watching what you do in race mode, what you do as a person, athlete, human, club member mode, and I think it's positive all round. There's so much to take away that's good, and they're looking up going, we want to be just like that. You know, we want to copy that, or So I think that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the power of the role model, and here's a daughter just watching. The kids are so perceptive.
Yeah.
And without realising, headphones are on, I'm on the ergo, they're doing what mum does.
Yeah. I think, I've rode at a few different clubs, and it's interesting, like the dynamic between open men's and open women's crews. Sometimes sharing a sweeps, sharing a boat. I don't know whether I was just an angry person or they were angry people, I'm not sure. But it sometimes can be quite challenging, and something that's not like that at Currumbin. It's just, everybody's kind of open arms and right through the club, every crew. And it must come, our role models, children, Lyle. Like, I didn't realise our first season, but we went to the annual dinner afterwards, and, Chook and Lyle are great mates. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And they're like sitting there like, how good are you? Let's go drink beer.
You're still doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm on the side going, how good are you still?
Great night out, chatting with them, and it was really cool. And I was like, oh, I'm just so stoked for Chookie. And he's got his girls thing going, I've got my boys thing. And then he had the hunters the next year. It's like, oh yeah, now you've got a girls thing going on, So it's cool to see that. And like, there's just maybe they took that aside, but it doesn't feel like there's that animosity at all with any of them.
There's no ego there.
No.
They're happy for each other and vice versa.
And, back to the Krakens, like they were like the senior crew of the club when we came in, and for them to just be like, come on, girls, get in here. Like, they're not the guys that were there when I was on the outside looking in. It was Glenn and all that bars, the history there, which was really intimidating. But when we got there, they were like so on board with us being there, which was so cool.
It is. There's some good energy through all those, and they all bring their own personalities to it. The Krakens, you just love them.
Yeah.
With what they've got.
I think also that's why we love the relay events so much too.
Yeah.
We really like at ASRL and at Aussies, both of them, the relay events were just top notch for us. Like, it's just over the years been the best to be part of the club.
Exactly. I wish that Sunday morning with that little window of weather at Aussies we could have run that boat relay this year, but I don't know, things happen for a reason. I'd had to be an event organiser this year, or any year, any time. So it's tricky. Duty of care and risk assessments and all that. Again, there's plenty more that I could throw at you, but any final comments? We're going to wrap it up. Any final comments? I really appreciate your time in having me in the Cockatoos nest this morning.
I think I would just like to say thank you for doing this and for asking us. Like, it's been awesome for us to kind of reflect and share on what we've done. We probably haven't thought about, some of the questions that you sent through and what it all means. And it was a tough finish to the end of last season, and to kind of reflect on the bigger picture for us, like we probably thought it's probably all there, but to actually verbalise it all and say it all to each other and just live on the text, you're so good, this was so good, like to really reflect on that. I think, thank you so much. And the level of froth that you bring to Currumbin is another layer to all the Dowks. And
no, that's great. Thanks very much. We enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to call it a wrap.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Look, happy days ahead, and thanks for your time. Looking forward to another off-season. World's in 11 weeks' time. And, let's go have some fun.
Thanks, Freddie.
Thanks, girls.
Thank you.